Welcome to episode 39 on the Law Report. Today I'm going to discuss the lies or the tricks that the police use in order to trick a suspect into incriminating his or herself, or in other words, in order to elicit a confession. I have already established in my previous episode that Section 5 of the Turks and Caicos Islands Constitution grants to every person arrested by the police the right to remain silent, which is the right from self-incrimination. I'll be back to discuss the matter in more detail. Before I do so, my usual disclaimer: this is not legal advice, should not be construed as such, and for legal advice, please contact an attorney of your choice. Welcome back. While it has been established in other jurisdictions outside the English legal system that the police could lie to suspects with impunity, namely in the United States of America, it is debatable whether the English legal system is that generous to police officers. But full disclosure, I have seen a couple of decisions trending in this direction, and as such, suspects have to be very careful with their interactions with police officers when officers are conducting interrogation or an interview of suspects. So, one of the most common lies that the police will tell a suspect is that I am just trying to get your side of the story. Now, this may lure a suspect into giving the police information in the hope that the police is an objective and impartial player in the matter, and that their story, when told, may exonerate them. But in my experience, what the police are looking for is for any inconsistencies in the suspect's story so that they can use it later as evidence against them, and they are looking for the suspect to corroborate the report made by the complainant. Once a report is made by a complainant and they come to you as a suspect, you don't automatically move from the suspect box to a neutral box. You remain a suspect, and what the police are looking for is evidence to corroborate the complainant's narrative and their belief, their subjective view of the matter, in order to prosecute you. And so you have to be very careful when the police say to you, we are just trying to get your side of the story. You are to remain silent. 2, the police may say to you, if you don't talk to me, I can't help you. Trust me, the police are not there to help you. The police are there to find evidence, to prosecute you, evidence to convict you, evidence to put you in jail. They are trying to use you, the suspect, as a source of evidence. And legally, no citizen, no suspect has an obligation, no legal obligation, to cooperate with a police investigation or to provide any evidence that could later land them in jail. So you have to be very careful when the police say that they are there to help you. They may threaten you and say, I will arrest you for obstructing an investigation if you don't talk. It's nonsense. It's a baloney sandwich. It's a nothing burger. You have no legal obligation to cooperate with the police investigation, to incriminate yourself, or to help them to find evidence to put you in jail. 4, the police may tell you that you are not a suspect and they are just seeking your help in the investigation. Then you are free to ask the police, if I'm not a suspect, why am I arrested? Then you should ask them, if I'm not a suspect and if I'm not arrested, am I free to leave? And if they say no, you can't leave, then you are a suspect. And the police is not trying to help you. The police is trying to help their investigation. 5, they may tell you that they have the incident on tape, or they have a witness, or they have your fingerprint, or they have your DNA. They may say your fingerprints were found at the scene, your DNA was found at the scene. We have a witness. We have it on tape, referring to CCTV footage. Then you have to say to them, show me. And while at the investigative stage, there is no requirement on the police to disclose evidence to you as the suspect, or even to the attorney. You should challenge them very respectfully and say, if you have me and CCTV footage committing an offense, then show it to me. I am sure that they are only lying to you, trying to scare you in order for you to confess. If they say they have a witness, then say to them, do you mind sharing the witness statement or details of what the witness say they saw or they heard? I'm sure if you call their bluff, they will just melt away. And if they say they have your DNA, then I'm telling you that they are lying to you, because 1, the police could only have your DNA from a crime scene in 2 instances. 1, if you volunteered for your DNA sample to be taken, or if a court orders that your DNA sample should be taken. And in that case, it has to be sent overseas for analysis. And from my experience, sometimes it takes months for the results to come back to the Turks and Caicos Islands. So if the police are arresting you for the first time and they're telling you that they have your DNA, they are lying. And if they rearrest you, having arrested you previously, and they now say to you, your DNA came back, and it is positive that you were involved in the crime or you were at a crime scene, ask them to show you the DNA report. 9 out of 10 times the police are lying to you. Now, they may say to you, there's nothing to worry about. We just need an alibi statement. The police, unless they have reasonable grounds to suspect that you have committed an offense and have arrested and detained you lawfully, they have no powers to detain you or arrest you for an alibi statement, because you have the right to remain silent. The police may say to you, if you don't hand over property or let me in your property, I will just get a warrant. Now, in this case, the police may need to examine your phone. Now, I will deal with this in a subsequent episode, but in my respectful view, and bear in mind that this is not legal advice, the police cannot seize your phone without a warrant. And if they seize your phone, having executed a warrant, you have no legal obligation to hand over your password to the police, because you have no legal obligation to incriminate yourself. But I will deal with this issue of telephones, seizures by police officers during a criminal investigation in another episode. If the police knocks on your door, if they do not have a warrant, they cannot enter into your home. The police in a criminal investigation can only enter into your home in two ways. One, by your consent, and two, by having a warrant. If the police take the time to show up at your premises seeking your consent to enter, they would have taken the time if it was urgent, and if they really believe that they would find incriminating evidence in your property, they would have taken the time to get a warrant. Don't fall for it. You are free to tell them you could come back when you have a warrant. And finally, the police may say to you, the sooner you give a statement, the quicker we will let you out of here. That is a trick. Because in giving that statement, especially without the advice of an attorney, you may incriminate yourself. You may even confess inadvertently to some offense that the police is not investigating, and you did not even know was an offense at the time. So do not fall for this trick. In my respectful view, 24 hours or 48 hours in police custody while they investigate, find nothing, and release you on police bail is a minor inconvenience to if you incriminate yourself and spend the next 10, 20, or 30 years in prison. So those are 8 of the most prominent lies that the police may tell you when they are interrogating you or interviewing you as a suspect. Please be aware, and always keep in mind, you do not have to assist the police in their investigation. You have no legal obligation to assist the police in putting you in jail. This is where I will leave it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another episode.